Hi, friends. I'm Lori Palau, host of the popular weekly podcast, This Organized Life, founder of Simply Be Organized, and author of the book Hot Mess, A Practical Guide to Getting Organized. For the past 7 years, we've been sharing stories, interviews, and strategies to help you live a more organized life. Whether you're struggling with physical clutter, calendar clutter, digital clutter, or just overwhelmed with the mental load of all the things, we're here to help you every step of the way. We know that one of the biggest struggles many of us face is time, and even finding the time to listen to a 45-minute long episode might not even be doable, which is why we've created this Organized Life Tip of the Week. These short episodes are designed to give you a little boost to start your week off on the right foot in under 15 minutes. This might be something that I'm doing in my personal life that I wanted to share, a tip that someone shared with me that I want to pass along to you, or maybe it might just be a prompt or story to help you think differently about the true meaning of clutter. New episodes of our Tip of the Week are automatically going to show up in your podcast feed on Mondays, and our regular long-form episodes will continue to drop each and every Thursday. Now, if you're new here, make sure to click the subscribe or follow button for instant access to all of our 300 plus past episodes. And if you're already subscribed to TOL, there's nothing that you need to do. Our bonus episodes should already be in your feed. Regardless of whether you just found us or you're one of our OG listeners, I am so happy that you're here. Now, let's get to it. Hi, everybody. Oh, let me start that again. Hi, everybody, and welcome to our tip of the week for this Organized Life podcast. I'm your host, Lori Palau, and I'm actually really excited about this topic. It might be something that we're going to turn into one of our longer form episodes, but it was spawned off a conversation I was having with somebody the other day, which is, what is the difference between clutter and disorganization? A lot of times we use those words interchangeably, but there are specific differences between the two. So just want to take a few moments to kind of unpack it, because if you've been around me for any length of time, you know that being really specific in your language and how we communicate with other people is a really important skill to have in order to address a lot of the conflict that results from clutter. So I think the more accurate we can be with what is stressing us out, the easier it will be for us to correct those problems. So let's just look at the differences between, or some of the common differences between clutter and disorganization. So I define clutter as anything that is in your life that you're not using or loving or serving you at this particular, or serving somebody for this particular season, right, of your life. So it's something that is just taking up space. And again, it's not doing anything. You're not getting enjoyment from it. It's not something that's serving any benefit of a purpose. It's just there. Okay. So clutter can be clothing, clutter can be toys, clutter can be paper, clutter can be just stuff in your brain that is taking up space, like anxiety, like that's a form of clutter. So clutter is an issue that we want to remove, right? It requires an action of, if we want to get rid of this clutter, or the action that we need to do is we need to remove it. We need to get rid of it. We need to delete it. We need to donate it, or we need to discard it, right? Like those are the things that we need to do. And so it goes through the process of saying, like, if I'm going to, is this something that I can do on my own, or is it something I need help with? Do I need to talk it through with a therapist? Do I need to hire a professional organizer? Do I need to just sit down and talk to my roommates, my partner, my spouse, my kids, whatever, and say, we need to get rid of these things. We need to, before we can organize, we have to declutter. And I think that's also a really important distinction, is you need to, it really makes sense. I don't say you need to, but it makes logical sense to declutter before we organize. Because the whole purpose of organizing is so that we can find things when we need them. And if we have clutter, stuff that we're not needing, they're just taking up space. So why do we want to give that any room in our fill in the blank, in our space, in our minds, whatever? So again, clutter, stuff we want to remove. Organization, on the other hand, is stuff that we have, that we use, that we love, that we need, but it might be disorganized in the sense we don't have a proper system and strategy of how to access it and keep it in a way that is easy for us to find when we need it. So, step one of the organization process is decluttering. Now, there are some people that really, really struggle with that part of it. And there's other people that are disorganized, but they don't really have a lot of clutter. They just don't have a good system. They are disorganized when it comes to their calendar. They are disorganized when it comes to meal planning. They are disorganized when it comes to a laundry routine. They're disorganized when it comes to their cabinets or their closets. So you can be disorganized without being overrun by clutter. It can be a both and, but it can also be an either or. I will say most people that have clutter are going to be disorganized, but you can be disorganized without having a lot of clutter. I've seen people that err on the side of minimalism that are still disorganized. Now, obviously, the less stuff you have, the less stuff you need to organize. It's just like a math issue. But I think really being able to articulate where you're struggling is so important. And that specifically goes true if you are hiring a professional organizer. So if you're thinking about enlisting some outside help, being able to say, I'm really struggling with clutter and getting rid of things, or knowing what to get rid of or how to get rid of it, is my first priority. Or I don't really have a lot of clutter, but I just don't know how to maximize my space, right? I need a better layout for my space. I need a better system for incoming and outgoing mail or whatever it is that's coming through. It could be digital clutter, whatever. What are the things, or digital organization? What are the things that are keeping us from making it organized, easy to find, easy to navigate? And usually, a system that is organized is accessible for other people as well. So that's kind of a benchmark. Is this system something that I could easily pass the torch to somebody else and then they can find it? Or is one of those, like, I'm organized because I know everything, but I'm the keeper of the secrets. So again, when you want to think about having an organized system, it should be broad enough that the people that are going to be using it are able to access it. You don't want to be the roadblock. You don't want to be the bottleneck. So you want people to be able to access their own snacks or access their own laundry, or if you have a shared calendar, you want other people to be able to access that too, or a Dropbox folder for files. You don't want everything to have to fall on you, because that is where it's not sustainable. So again, really the tip of the week, we can get into the weeds, and that'll probably what we'll do for our longer episode. But the tip of the week today is to really look at yourself and say, am I struggling more with clutter, or am I struggling with clutter and disorder, or am I struggling with disorganization? Which is it? Or is it a combination of both? If you're loving this episode, or these episodes, these tip of the week episodes, please, would you go into Apple Podcasts and leave us a 5-star review and tell us specifically what resonates with you. Is there a specific episode that you heard that you like, a specific tip that you heard that you really love? We want to hear all of it. And if there's a tip that you have, something that you want to share, you can also leave that there. We read all of our reviews. It really helps us with social cred for other people that are looking at, is this podcast worth my listen? So we love hearing from you. And again, we've been getting such great feedback from these shorter tip of the week episodes. We appreciate that. So taking that time to share that with us is been really, really helpful. So until next week, I'm Lori Palau, and I will be back on Thursday with our long, regular episodes of This Organized Life podcast. See ya. Peace out.